Welcome to SAT Prep Thursday. Today we're doing College Board SAT Practice Test number 7, Part 4, numbers 1 through 20. This is a calculator approved section, so I will be using either the TI-30XS or the TI-30XA. Also, there will be a file link in the description for this practice test. The table above shows the kinds of food that are fed to cats and dogs currently boarded at a pet care facility. What fraction of the dogs are fed only dry food? The key here is simply we're looking at the total number of dogs and dry food only, which is 2. This means I'm looking at 2 out of the total 25, so B is the answer. Which of the following expressions is equivalent to the one above? So let's rewrite this first one without parentheses so that we have an x squared minus 3. Distribute this into the parentheses so we have plus 3x squared minus 5. That means I have 4x squared minus 8. A is the answer. A certain package requires 3 centimeters of tape to be closed securely. What is the maximum number of packages of this type that can be secured with 6 meters of tape? Remember that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. Now we have 6 meters of tape, which means I have 6 meters. 6 meters would be equal to 100 times 6 centimeters, or 600 centimeters. Now we're going to divide this by 3 centimeters to get 200 packages. C is the answer. A market research selected 200 people at random from a group of people who indicated that they liked a certain book. The 200 people were shown a movie based on the book, then asked whether they liked or disliked the movie. Of those surveyed, 95% said they disliked the movie. Which of the following inferences can approximately be drawn from the survey result? At least 95% of the people who go see the movie will dislike the movie. Now, this can only really be drawn for people that have read the book. At least 95% of people who read the book will dislike the movie. And we can't really say that because this is a very small sample size, and it could have been largely populated with people who prefer books over movies, meaning we can eliminate B. Most people who dislike this book will like this movie, and there's nothing in the research that says this. And most people who like the book will dislike the movie. And I think a most is something you could go with because it doesn't maintain 95% as a holding point. Which of the following ordered pairs xy's satisfies the inequality 5x minus 3y is less than 4? So let's just substitute numbers in. This would give us a 5 minus 3, which is 2. Is that less than 4? Yes, it is. This means the answer must contain a 1, so we've eliminated B as an answer. Now we substitute 2 5 into this equation, and 2 times 5 is 10, and 5 times 3 is 15, so we get a negative 15. This is going to give us a negative 5 is less than 4. Which is also true. So 1 and 2 are true. This means that C is the answer because we're looking at, this one says 1 and 3 only, which means 2 could not be an answer. But if you wanted to go ahead and check it, you could say 3 times 5 is 15 and 2 times 3 is 6. 15 minus 6 is 9, and that is not less than 4. In the equation, ax plus 3 squared is equal to 36. A is constant. If x is equal to negative 3, one of the solutions to the equation, what is the possible value of a? Let's start by taking the square root of both sides and substituting negative 3 in for x. This means I would have negative 3a plus 3 is equal to plus or minus 6. This would give us negative 3a is equal to negative 3 plus or minus 6. So at this point, we have really 2 answers. We have that a can be negative 3 plus 6 divided by negative 3, or a can be negative 3 minus 6 divided by negative 3. In this case, negative 3 plus 6 is 3, divided by negative 3 is a negative 1. That's going to give us C as an answer. Now, negative 3 minus 6 is negative 9, divided by negative 3 is a positive 3, which we don't even have to worry about here. Questions 7 and 8 refer to this following information. The scatter plot above shows the density of 7 planetoids in grams per cubic centimeter with respect to their average distance from the sun in astronomical units, or AU. The line of best fit is also shown. According to the scatter plot, which of the following statements is true about the relationship between a planetoid's average distance from the sun and its density? Planetoids that are more distant from the sun tend to have a lesser density. Now, that line of best fit was a negative line, which leaves us with A being an answer. Planetoids that are more distant from the sun tend to have a greater density is a direct opposite of A and not an answer. The density of a planetoid that is twice as far from the sun as another planetoid is half the density of the other planetoid. Now, if we figured out the slope of that line of best fit, you'd wind up with a approximately negative 1.98. And what this is saying is a negative 0.5, so the slopes would not match. The distance from the planetoid to the sun is unrelated to the density, and that is absolutely not what this graph is talking about. An astronomer has discovered a new planetoid about 1.2 AU from the sun. According to the line of best fit, which of the following best approximates the density of the planetoid in grams per cubic centimeter? By looking at the graph, if I went to 1.2 and tracked that all the way up to this point, and then tracked it to the left, I can see it's going to be a little bit more than 4.5. Well, of these answers, the one that is a little more than 4.5 is 4.6, so C is the answer. Based on the equation above, what is the value of AX plus B? Let's start by dividing all of these terms by 3 just because it has them in common. This is going to give us 3ax plus 3b minus 2 is equal to 7. This means that 3ax plus 3b is equal to 9. Now we can divide everything by 3 again, giving us ax plus b is equal to 3. Now ax plus b is what we were after, and so 3 is the answer. A. Lonnie spends 15% of her 8-hour workday in meetings. How many minutes of her workday did she spend in meetings? So if we have an 8-hour workday times 60 minutes per day, and 15%, 0.15 of it, is spent in meetings, just by using the calculator, we get 72. So D is the answer. A software company is selling a new game in a standard edition and a collector's edition. The box for the standard edition has a volume of 20 cubic inches, and the box of the collector's edition has a volume of 30 cubic inches. The company receives an order of 75 copies of the game, and the total volume of the order to be shipped is 1,870 cubic inches. Which of the following systems of equations can be used to determine the number of standard edition games S and collector's edition games C that were ordered? So we understand that there are 75 copies of the game that are here. That means that C plus S is equal to 75. Now I'm interested in anything that looks equivalent to this. Now S minus C, that just doesn't work, so those get eliminated. Both of these have this 75 minus S. So how about I say C is equal to 75 minus S, shows either of these could be the answer. We can see that the standard edition has a volume of 20 cubic inches. So we would wind up with 20 times S, and we can see that 30 cubic inches is the collector's edition, so we can add 30 times C. So 20S plus 30C, that leaves us with A is the answer. A customer paid $53 for a jacket after a 6% sales tax was added. What is the price of the jacket before the sales tax was added? So the thing is, when we understand that the price paid is 1.06 the price time is the price and tax. So we'd have the price plus the 0.0, and this is going to be equal to the total amount of money. This means that X is 53 divided by 1.06, giving us that X is 50, so B is the answer. Teresa ran on a treadmill for 30 minutes, and her time and speed are shown on the graph above. According to the graph, which of the following statements is not true concerning Teresa's run? Teresa ran at a constant speed for 5 minutes. And I can see a constant speed right here where it's plateaued. So that is A, so A is not an answer. Teresa's speed was increasing for a longer period of time than it was decreasing. Now I could add up all the minutes, but instead I'm going to move on and see if I can eliminate the others. Teresa's speed decreased at a constant rate during the last 5 minutes. And during this last 5 minutes right here, I can see that that was occurring, so C cannot be the answer because we're looking for the thing that's false. Teresa's speed reached a maximum during the last 10 minutes. And we can see right here, during this last 10 minutes from 20 to 30, it did reach its maximum speed, so D is not an answer, so we're left with B is the answer. In the figure above, what is the value of X? Now, the total of the internal angles of a quadrilateral is 360 degrees. We get to subtract 45 degrees from that because it's known right here, giving us 315 degrees. But there's 3 angles that all have that as their total. So we divide that by 3 and get 105 degrees. D is the answer. If 50 1-cent coins were stacked on top of each other in a column, the column would be approximately 3 7/8 inches tall. At this rate, which of the following is closest to the number of 1-cent coins it would take to make an 8-inch tall column? So 3 7/8 as a decimal would give us 3.875. Now that's 50 coins. So if I divide it by 50, I can get 0.0775 per coin. This means if I was looking at 8 is equal to 0.0775, how many of those coins would make 8 inches? And 8 divided by 0.0775 is 103.23 as my approximate for X. So we can say B is the answer. If A minus B is equal to 12 and B over 2 is equal to 10, what is the value of A plus B? B over 2 is equal to 10 means that B is equal to 20. So A minus B would be A minus 20 is equal to 12, meaning that A is 32. Then A plus B, so 32 plus 20 would be 52. D is the answer. The equation above models a total cost Y in dollars that a company charges a customer to rent a truck for 1 day and drive the truck X miles. The total cost consists of a flat fee plus the charge per mile driven. When the equation is graphed in the XY plane, what does the y-intercept of the graph represent in terms of the model? So if you rented the truck and drove 0 miles, you would eliminate that and be left with this 0 miles just renting the truck and having it sit there. That is the flat fee of $19.99. The scatter plot above shows data for 10 charities along with the line of best fit. For the charity with the greatest percentage of total expenses spent on programs, which of the following is closest to the difference of the actual percent and the percent predicted by the line of best fit? So looking at this, we see this is the absolute highest point, and just tracking that over, we wind up with 92.5%. If I track this down, I can see that it's predicting 85%. So 92.5% minus 85% will give us 7.5%, which is closest to be 7%. For questions 19 and 20, you're going to refer to this following information. The formulas above are used in medicine to estimate the body surface area. A, in square meters of infants and children who weigh W ranges from 3 and 30 kilograms and whose height H is measured in centimeters. Based on Current's formula, what is W in terms of A? Now, Current's formula was A is equal to 4 plus W is equal or divided by 30. So let's multiply both sides by 30 to get 30A is equal to 4 plus W. Now, if I subtract 4 from both sides, I wind up with 30A minus 4 is equal to W, and that gives us A is the answer. If Mosteller's and Current's formulas are given the same estimate for A, which of the following expressions is equivalent to the square root of HW? So what we're actually saying is the square root of HW over 60 would be equal to 4 plus W divided by 30. And we're solving for the square root of HW, so we multiply both sides by 60. We're going to get the square root of HW is now equal to 60 times 4 plus W over 30. Now 60 divided by 30, that's going to give us a 2. So the square root of HW is equal to 2 times 4 plus W, which means C is the answer.